please put your hands together in a warm Megatronic applause for Abraham van der Pfeiffer. Abraham van der Pfeiffer, what's your problem? What's your problem, Abraham van der Pfeiffer?
Petey had an unfortunate childhood. He lost his brothers and sisters in a flash flood in the year 1995. And the only reason why he survived? Because his mother gave him up for adoption 2 weeks earlier. My fellow Toastmasters, guests, Madam Conference Chair, the reason I have the privilege of knowing the story about Petey is because we were the family that adopted him. We took him in. But don't look so concerned, because there's one small detail you should know about Petey. Petey was a chicken. And I do not mean a skinny kid with no guts. I mean Petey was an actual chicken. He was about yay high, feathery, white as snow, a rooster to be precise. But that being said, Petey was no ordinary chicken. Petey was an extraordinary chicken. A chicken whose life I want to tell each and every one of you about. Now, by show of hands, who here has ever owned a chicken? Tough crowd, come on. For the rest of you, you should know, a chicken is actually just a feathery container of fear. When you look a chicken in the eyes, it's all anxious, all scared. But oh no, not Petey. Petey was different. When you look Petey in the eyes, he looks straight back at you with this look. What's your problem? My sister was the one who took him in, and she absolutely adored him. She took him everywhere, to the school, to the mall, to the library. And she carried him around like a small feathery handbag. And how impractical that might sound, she always concocted a plan. That brings me to, I grew up in South Africa. And once a year, we would go on safari. Now imagine this. Me, my brother and sister packed in an old grey Mercedes-Benz. Halfway through the 6-hour journey, my sister politely bends down, takes out her dollhouse, places it on her lap, opens up the roof, takes out Petey. Her infamous words rattle through my mind to this very day. Guess who I brought along? The car came to an instant halt. My dad composed himself, slowly turned around, and there he saw Petey with that look. What's your problem? My dad, annoyed by the situation, did the calculation, and there was only one thing left to do. Petey was going on safari. We snuck that little rooster into the national park, and everything went surprisingly well. Until one day, we decided that Petey should stretch his legs a bit, since the dollhouse is no place for a chicken. There we were, at the garden of the cottage where we were staying. My dad, brother, and I, we're doing the barbecue, my sister, Mum doing the nails, and there was Petey, minding his own business, stretching his little legs, when suddenly, an eagle swooped down and grabbed Petey. Gone was the little rooster, out of our lives, for about 2 seconds. What I honestly believe that happened next is, as the eagle looked down to see what the catch of the day was, there he found Petey with that look. What the cluck is your problem? Out of sheer confusion, the eagle dropped Petey. He came tumbling down, and my sister grabbed him in the handbag position. And that's where the little rooster stayed for the rest of the holiday. Petey's life seemed to attract odd situations. He once had a stare down with a border collie, and a couple of months later, a cockfight with a wildcat. And in every single situation, Petey seized the opportunity. He defined the moment, and every situation, he rose to the occasion. But one morning, my sister came running into the house with an ice-cold, lifeless Petey pressed against her chest. That storm, Petey escaped as a chick, came back, and had the final say. That morning, we had our first emergency funeral, and we stood in a small circle, and everybody had something nice to say about Petey. My dad even laughed about the safari incident. But my sister just cried and cried. And through the tears, she only said one thing. I never even told him he was a chicken. I never even told him he was a chicken. My fellow Toastmasters, guests, today I stand here, but I cannot honestly tell you if Petey knew he was a chicken. But if there's one thing that I do take from my feathery friend's life, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, who your parents are. If anybody ever judges you because of who they think you are, I dare you, I challenge you. Look them back straight in the eyes and ask, what's your problem?